This time, I had the opportunity to visit a peaceful countryside in France, at the invitation of a close friend, a seasoned hunter who has been deeply connected to this land for many years. He told me that recently, the wild boars had become increasingly bold, openly destroying crops and causing unrest in the lives of the locals. In response to his invitation, my team and I quickly packed our gear and set off, determined to put an end to the looming threat. Join us now as we embark on our pursuit of these shadows in the wild. From early morning, the team began executing our hunting plan for the day. As the first rays of sunlight broke through, it was the perfect time for the wild boars to bask in the sun and forage for food. This was the golden moment for us to strike. Step by step, we carefully scanned the area, guns in hand, always ready for the perfect shot. And then, the familiar shape slowly came into focus through our sights. Perfect! The shot landed, piercing the leg of the beast. An indescribable feeling surged through me as I brought down the prey in this vast, desolate grassland. In the vast open grasslands, the wild boars that pass through will surely leave their marks behind. With a spirit of determination and weapons in hand, we followed the tracks imprinted in the earth. There it was. The pistol was fired decisively. One must never underestimate the hide of these creatures. It is thick and tough.
Get closer.
I had to fire several rounds before finally bringing it down. This was a testament to our unwavering resolve to protect this beautiful land of ours at all costs. The weather today seemed like it was welcoming me here. Lucas mentioned that just a few days ago, the weather had been gloomy, and he had even worried that we wouldn't be able to hunt today. There it is, Lucas reminded me, but we couldn't strike yet. We had to wait for the right angle for the shot. And then, as it had to happen, my finger tightened on the trigger. The bullet shot out as fast as lightning. Without a doubt, it hit its mark and lay motionless on the green grass. Before I could even lower my rifle to break for lunch, I suddenly caught the familiar, strong scent and the rustling noise coming from somewhere nearby. The binoculars quickly proved their worth. The prey was now clearly in sight. The moment had arrived. The shot rang out. This was the end for those who dared to boldly wreak havoc in this area. At the same time, in another spot, a group of boars were busy grazing, which surprised Lucas. But the prime target right in front of him reminded him not to forget his mission. Locking onto the target, his finger gently squeezed the trigger, and the bullet shot out. The rest managed to flee, but this one wasn't so lucky. Look at it. This one must weigh nearly 100 kilograms, if not more. It looks like tonight's bounty for the locals will be quite a heavy one. Today, I felt as though I had been granted a special blessing. Just as I was getting ready to pack up and head back with Lucas before the darkness took over, another shadow slipped into my sights. Without hesitation, the rifle was adjusted to the perfect angle for the shot. In an instant, the loud bang echoed across the fields, shattering the quiet stillness of the evening. Another victory was added to the tally of today's hunt. The endless fields may seem calm, but all it takes is one wild hog charging through to throw everything into chaos. Armed with brute strength and cunning instincts, these beasts can tear through anything in their path. That's why seasoned hunters never let their guard down. One slight movement could mean the prey is right in front of you or already gone, leaving behind only stunned eyes staring into the distance. So, what are you waiting for? Get ready for some heart-pounding, unforgettable hunting moments. Early in the morning, John's hunting vehicle sped down the road heading toward the Queensland fields. As soon as they arrived, hurried footsteps set off the chase to track the wild animals. Every tense gaze scanned the surroundings, leaving no spot unchecked. Wait, there seemed to be a noise ahead. John raised his modern binoculars, spotting a dark figure hiding among the tall grass. In a ready stance, the precise trigger pull came the moment the animal slipped into John's sight. The beast fell instantly, a powerful shot marking a strong start to today's battle. Moving on to the neighboring field to hunt for more targets, the team quickly set up a tight perimeter. After just a few minutes of waiting, a herd of wild boars appeared across the field. This was the golden moment. John immediately squeezed the trigger, the bullet hitting its mark. The lone boar fell, and the rest panicked and scattered. Moments later, the echoing shot signaled that the fleeing threat had been dealt with. A successful move to stop those sharp claws from continuing their destruction here. At another location, Jay spotted a pack of wild hogs casually moving through the field. Without a moment's hesitation, he fired a powerful shot. The lead hog collapsed instantly. Follow-up shots quickly stopped the rest in their tracks. A flawless sweep that left no one behind, successfully protecting the field. As the sun climbed higher, John's team decided to switch up their tactics and hunting grounds. They moved deeper into the thick brush surrounding the fields, determined to better protect the peace of Queensland's farmlands. Just as the hounds let out a sharp bark, the massive silhouette of a wild hog tore across their path. In a matter of seconds, John locked in, raised his rifle, and squeezed the trigger. One shot was all it took to bring down the ferocious beast. At the edge of the field, Jay held his rifle steady, eyes locked on every movement, making sure nothing escaped his watch. Seconds later, a wild hog burst out of the brush. With no wasted motion, Jay pulled the trigger on instinct. Fast, clean, decisive. The beast dropped instantly. No matter how fast it ran, it never stood a chance against the barrel already waiting for it. At the same time, John kept moving, tracking the remaining signs. After a while, he paused, his eyes still sweeping the area. There, a large herd of wild boars had gathered. He raised his gun, and shots rang out in rapid succession. Another swift sweep was carried out in seconds, and soon, only fallen bodies remained. The long day has come to an end, trophies in hand, but the echoes of gunfire still ringing in the mind. The wild boars may return, but today, no one can deny that the hunters are the victors. The victory is for protecting the crops and bringing peace to the people.
Go on. Barely.
The villagers in rural Texas were growing desperate after countless defeats against the relentless destruction caused by ferocious wild boars. John's hunting team stepped onto this land with a single mission: to restore hope to the people. Every step they took was a vow of unwavering determination. This time, hunting wild boar was no longer just a passion, it was a noble mission. And they knew failure was not an option. Will John's team succeed in their mission? Stay tuned to find out. At the break of dawn, the team piled into their vehicle and headed to the planned location. Upon arrival, tense eyes locked in. The hunt for the beasts had begun. Soon after the hunting dogs were released, a signal rang out. A wild boar had been spotted. John and his team moved in immediately. There it was. A towering dark figure came into view. Without hesitation, John squeezed the trigger. The grass was marked by a fallen obstacle. The first victory was sealed within seconds. Pressing onward, John moved toward the spot where he was certain the beast would appear. Raising his binoculars, there was no escape. Two wild boars were busy foraging in the tall grass. A series of precise, swift moves ensured they remained unaware. The sharp crack of the gunshot rang out decisively. One fell on the spot. The other vanished into the shadows, gone in an instant. In mere moments, the prize was securely in John's hands. The joy was short-lived, as a familiar signal snapped John back into full focus. His steps quickened, as if fearing the enemy might vanish again. Just minutes after arriving, a strange sound broke the silence. John's eyes locked in, refusing to miss a single detail. The beast appeared. John fired immediately. Dust kicked up everywhere, but the creature lay motionless on the ground. After a morning's hunt, the haul was notable, but still barely a drop in the bucket compared to the rapid breeding of these monstrous beasts. John and his team decided to step up their game by deploying aerial hunting to accelerate their takedown efforts. Helicopters roared overhead, splitting up to scour the terrain for targets. Minutes later, John's chopper approached an open field. The loud noise flushed the wild boars out, sending them into a panicked stampede. John and the pilot worked in perfect harmony, turning every escape route into a deadly trap. Unexpected shots rang out one after another, each bringing down a beast with deadly precision. The helicopter continued its flight to the neighboring field. Then, a rapid volley of gunfire erupted. As soon as the wild boars appeared, the pilot skillfully maneuvered the chopper closer, giving John the perfect opportunity to strike. The relentless sound of shots echoed through the air, leaving only the fallen beasts scattered across the land. In another corner, Nick's helicopter was sweeping through the area relentlessly. The pilot circled continuously, determined not to miss a single target. The moment a target appeared, the chopper closed in instantly. Wherever Nick went, another beast fell. Yet another piece of land saved from the brink, just in the nick of time. Today's battle successfully stopped a major threat to the people of Texas. Freedom was reclaimed, and the field was saved from the sharp claws of these monstrous beasts. This journey ends here for now. If you found it exciting, don't forget to leave a like, share, and stay tuned for even more intense hunts ahead. See you in the next video.
Located in the northern and northwestern regions of Arkansas, USA, the Ozark National Forest is famous for its majestic landscapes and incredibly diverse ecosystems. However, it is also a perfect haven for wild boar herds, aggressive animals that are multiplying out of control. They ravage crops, damage the land, and have become a constant threat to the lives of residents in the surrounding areas. At the break of dawn, with the early mist still hanging low, our team quickly made its way into the forest. I climbed up a hunting stand that had been set up a few days earlier, quietly raised my binoculars, and scanned the area in front of me. Suddenly, a dark figure appeared in the lens. It was heading this way. I immediately adjusted the focus, aligned my gun barrel. Just as the boar stopped and showed signs of fleeing, I pulled the trigger. Taking down these giant beasts is no easy task. It requires perfect coordination and lightning-fast reflexes from the entire team. As soon as I reported the escaped boar, Arlo didn't hesitate for even a second. He moved straight to the intercept point we had calculated earlier. With his rifle already chambered, All it took was a single pull of the trigger. The boar instantly collapsed. Arlo and I ventured deeper into the forest. Amidst the vast wilderness, shouts echoed from various positions, putting us on high alert. There it is. A dark blur dashed past us, seemingly unafraid. But Arlo, with the composure of a seasoned hunter, swiftly raised his gun, aimed, and fired. A sharp gunshot rang through the forest, and with just one shot, the target dropped. Before we could catch our breath, 2 more boars suddenly burst out. They ran fast, but their fate had already been sealed. It was terrifying. 3 wild boars taken down in under a minute. Without a doubt, Arlo is the nightmare of wild boars in this forest. As we entered denser areas, we relied entirely on our pack of hunting dogs to detect the prey. The moment we heard fierce barking, the team rushed toward the source. Sure enough, a wild boar was cornered deep within a thick bush. Bang! A shot rang out, but before we could settle it, oh my God, that was dangerous. The wild boar suddenly charged at us. My friend was injured, but thankfully, the boar was taken down shortly after. A heart-stopping moment that showed no hunting trip is guaranteed to go smooth. Even experienced hunters can face danger at any moment. After that dangerous encounter, we gathered ourselves and quickly resumed the hunt. I quietly hid under camouflage, watching as the prey walked right into an invisible trap. A sharp crack echoed. The boar tried to flee, driven by pure survival instinct, but collapsed just a few meters later. The moment it poked its head out from the bushes, I didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. This time, we had taken back the upper hand. Just 10 minutes later, I received an order via walkie-talkie to intercept a wild boar a few dozen meters ahead. I quickly ran to the designated spot, firmly gripping my gun. I was more cautious this time, from aiming to pulling the trigger, making sure the boar was completely neutralized with no chance of counterattack. By this point, the boars had become familiar with the presence of hunters and began hiding. Even so, under relentless pursuit from the hunting dogs, they were forced out of their shelters one by one. And we didn't miss a single opportunity, taking down the prey until the very last moments of the day. New South Wales, the agricultural lifeline of Australia, generating billions of dollars every year. But now it's under siege by bloodthirsty wild boars. These beasts tear through the land, ripping up soil, destroying crops, and causing tens of millions in damage. To protect this fertile ground, hunters from across the country are mobilizing, and we're among them. The battle for survival has begun. Can we stop them before it's too late? Join us and witness the fight right now. 5 a.m. As the first light of dawn breaks the horizon, we load up our gear and climb into our trusty vehicle, rolling out toward the rendezvous point. The moment we arrive, the team immediately fans out, moving to our pre-planned hiding spots. 20 minutes pass, dead silence. Not a sound, not a sign. Then, just as I crouch behind a thick bush, a massive wild boar, easily 500 pounds, bursts out of nowhere, charging just a few meters in front of me. A sharp crack of gunfire cuts through the stillness, followed by another. The beast crashes to the ground, motionless in its place. A solid start to the hunt. In the next field over, Leon had also spotted his target. Finally, the herd appeared. Leon quietly chambered a round, locked onto his target, and pulled the trigger. A thunderous gunshot echoed through the field. The rest scattered, instantly vanishing into the brush in a flash. All that remained was a massive wild boar, motionless on the ground. But the hunt was far from over. With its open terrain, it was the perfect spot to track the beasts. And just as we predicted, a large group of wild boars had begun to emerge, tearing up the dry soil with their sharp hooves. Gunshots rang out immediately, but these boars were fast. Most of them managed to escape into the brush, leaving only a few bodies behind. We couldn't let those beasts get away so easily. I quickly radioed the team, marking the exact area that needed to be tracked. Just 5 minutes later, Leon spotted a big, heavy one weaving its way through the tall grass.
I like it!
Leon quietly raised his rifle, tracking every step it took and squeezed the trigger. One clean shot, the boar staggered, stumbled, and dropped to the ground. At the same time, on the eastern side of the field, Ram had also spotted the silhouette of a wild boar hiding in the dry brush. Several of them burst out in panic, trying to escape the hunting dogs. Gunshots cracked through the chaos clean, Precise dropping 2 boars instantly onto the grass. About 5 minutes later, another one charged out unexpectedly. Without a moment's hesitation, Ram brought it down with a single shot. Night was falling fast, and we rushed to track down the last of the stragglers. The field had fallen eerily quiet, only the sound of grass crunching beneath our boots. Suddenly, a wild boar burst through the undergrowth. It was fleeing from something, but it had chosen the wrong direction. A gunshot tore through the silence once more. The boar collapsed in the tall grass this time. It wasn't getting away.